You know, just 1 year ago, my mornings started with this feeling of pure dread. I'm talking about debilitating pain, being tired all the time, and living in a body that just didn't feel like mine anymore. My doctors, they basically told me it was menopause, that it was irreversible, and I just had to live with it. But I didn't. This is the story of how I went from feeling like my body was literally rusting away to completely reclaiming my life. I mean, just look at this. This picture says it all. On the left, that was my life, just defined by chronic pain, exhaustion, and feeling awful. And on the right, that's me now, full of energy, totally pain-free, and I dropped a ton of weight. And this isn't some fantasy. This became my reality. The most surprising part of it all, the change that got me here was unbelievably simple. So how on earth did it happen? Let's get into it.
To really get the transformation, you have to understand the misery that came before it. I honestly felt like my body was just breaking down, piece by painful piece, like it was slowly rusting from the inside out. And it all started the second my feet hit the floor in the morning.
It started in my feet. The moment I stood up, it was like a knife stabbing into my heel. That's plantar fasciitis, and let me tell you, it turned the simple act of walking into a daily nightmare. That first step out of bed, it was pure terror.
And the pain wasn't just in my feet. Oh no. My finger joints were so swollen, so sore, it made the simplest things impossible. I mean, look at this. There were days I couldn't even open a water bottle. It was this constant, humiliating reminder that my body just wasn't working right.
And then there were the changes you could see. This layer of stubborn fat just settled around my middle, and I was bloated all the time, no matter what I ate. I'd look in the mirror and think, who is that? I seriously felt like a stranger trapped in my own body.
So of course, I went to the doctor. I was desperate for an answer, for some hope, and this is what I got. It's menopause. Your hormones are gone. There's nothing you can do. According to them, this was it. This was my new reality. It was just devastating to hear.
I left that office feeling completely hopeless. But then, a question started nagging at me. Was this really it? Was this just what getting older meant? Or, and this was the big one, was it possible that something I was doing, something I was eating every single day, was actually poisoning me? That one question sent me down this massive research rabbit hole. And what I found was, well, it was startling. What if the enemy wasn't my age? What if it wasn't my hormones? What if the real enemy was something I'd been eating my entire life? Something we're all told is essential? Carbohydrates.
Think about it. We're all taught that carbs, rice, bread, pasta, are essential fuel for our bodies. But this theory I stumbled upon had a totally different take. What if, for a body like mine that was already inflamed, carbs were actually just throwing gasoline on the fire? The idea that this could be true, it changed everything for me.
The logic behind it was so simple. It was almost beautiful. If carbs were the fuel for the fire of inflammation raging in my joints and my gut, what would happen if I just took the fuel away? The idea was that the fire would have to go out. It was a powerful thought. Just starve the inflammation.
So that was it. I decided to do something pretty radical. Based on this whole new way of thinking, I decided to completely overhaul my diet. I was going to trade the grains I'd eaten my entire life for something totally different. And the change was dramatic. On the left, that's everything I cut out. I'm talking rice, bread, noodles, all sugar, even most fruit. Gone. And on the right, that's what I replaced it all with. Meat, eggs, and tons of leafy greens. I literally traded my rice bowl for a steak.
And the philosophy was so easy to follow. Just 3 simple steps. First, get rid of all grains and sugar. I mean, all of it. Second, make good quality meat and eggs the star of every single meal. And third, fill up the rest of your plate with fresh, leafy greens. Seriously, that's it.
So I committed. I went all in on this new way of eating, and the results, they were nothing short of a miracle. My friends definitely thought I was crazy at first, but my body started responding almost immediately. I want to walk you through the 4 most incredible changes that happened. The very first change was the most important one. This was the big one. The sign that told me I was absolutely on the right track. And it had everything to do with the one thing that had been completely running my life. The pain, it just disappeared. That arthritis in my fingers that made me feel so helpless, gone. The plantar fasciitis that made me dread getting out of bed, vanished. Those chronic headaches I used to get, a distant memory.
By starving the inflammation, I had finally silenced all the pain.
Okay, so the second change was the one that everyone else started to see. And wow, did it happen faster than I ever could have imagined. It was a complete physical transformation.
It was a total size revolution. That stubborn, awful fat around my middle just seemed to melt away without me even trying. I dropped from a size 77 to a 55 in just a few months. For the first time in so long, my body felt light, it felt strong, it felt athletic again.
Now, this third change was one I was not expecting at all. This went way beyond just pain and weight. It honestly felt like my entire body was rejuvenating itself. I guess all that high-quality protein and healthy fat was rebuilding me from the inside out. My hair, which had been getting so thin, started growing back thick and shiny. My skin cleared up and started to glow. I'm not kidding. My friends actually started asking me if I'd found some secret dermatologist.
And finally, the fourth big change. This one was all about my internal health, about rebuilding my body's resilience from the ground up. My immune system felt like it was made of steel. I just stopped catching every cold that went around the office. My digestion, which had always been a problem, became perfect. But the best part? My checkup numbers. My blood pressure, my cholesterol, my blood sugar, all of them went back into the perfect normal range.
So what's the takeaway from all of this? For me, it was that menopause wasn't an ending. It was actually an opportunity. It was the trigger that finally forced me to look at the food I was eating and realize it had been hurting me all along. The pain wasn't about age. It was about the food.
So I'll just leave you with this one thought. What if the key to getting your energy back, to silencing your own pain, is already sitting right there on your plate? I really encourage you to ask the tough questions about what you're eating, because my experience showed me that your own personal miracle might just be waiting for you too.